Fair farthings, fine fellows and females. Today we're going to be playing Finished by Friedemann Friese. Uh, Finished is a solitaire card game by the designer of possibly one of the best solitaire card games ever made. No, I'm not talking about solitaire that you play on your computer with a standard deck of cards, although that probably, in terms of I guess, cultural cash and I don't know. I think that one is cachet. I overcorrected myself because I know historically I use the word cachet. I pronounce the word cache as cachet when it should just be cash. But I believe the word I was looking for was cachet there. Cultural cachet. Anyway, in terms of just broadest reach, I'm sure that Klondike, that game you play with a standard deck of cards, is probably the greatest solitaire card game ever made. But in terms of actual game quality, I would say that Friday by Friedemann Friese is the best solitaire card game, at least the best bang for your buck. And today we're going to be playing Finished, which was a much more recent game of his. And actually rather similar to that game of Klondike that I just mentioned. So if you don't know anything about Friedemann Friese, he's German, I believe. He likes to make games that are a little bit clever. Like a lot of his designs like have an idea that you can tell that he was kind of just being playful when he did that. So, like, for instance, there's one game called Copycat that I own that is a game about a politician in a political race who is trying to, I guess, he's using the people that he knows and the people that his wealthy family knows in order to and the connections and whatnot, rather than his own personal skills and abilities. So that's kind of like the theme. And then the actual mechanics are that Friedemann Friese borrowed the mechanics of the top 10 board games at the time. And he just took like what he thought were the most recognizable game mechanics from each of them and mashed them together, and that was the game. So it's that kind of like clever element to his game designs that you'll probably notice. He also loves the color green, and he loves the letter F. So this is a game called Finished. It is about trying to get finished with a task at work. I actually did a stream of this game really recently, a couple of days ago, and I'm kind of redoing it because I was not pleased with the outcome of that game. Spoilers, I lost. So we're going to try again. So I'm not really necessarily going to go into everything in detail, but I'm just going to give the briefest overview. So this is a game about being an office drone, basically, being a worker in a desk job and trying to finish your task before you collapse from exhaustion. I kind of came to the conclusion while I was playing last time that that you are playing as a salaried worker because you are most likely working a ton of overtime. You basically have to continue until the job is finished or until you run out of coffee cups. We are going to be playing the very easy difficulty. There are four difficulty modes in the game. Technically, I think actually five, because the game comes pre-sorted. That will make sense in a second, but this deck comes kind of pre-sorted when you first open the game. You don't need to shuffle it. And that's kind of like the lowest difficulty. That's like the starting difficulty of the game, because it is perfectly balanced for you to be able to win, and probably actually a little bit easier than actually shuffling the deck. And then there are 4 additional difficulty levels on top of that. We're going to be playing the very easy game, the lowest difficulty, in which case I start with 7 cups of coffee. And I'm just going to put my 7 cups of coffee here. Hello, buddy boy. And 7 sweets. So the game comes with these lovely, colorful candy pieces. According to the rules, you never know what you might get. It says the different colors are only for fun. The colors of the sweets in the box may vary. I believe I got the exact same colors that are shown in the picture. Actually, no, because I got one of these uncolored ones, sort of tan, unpainted one. And that's not pictured here, but that's a fun little detail that you might get different colors. So we're going to take 7 sweets, and that's going to kind of have to tide us over for the rest of the workday. So in this game, you are a worker who is trying to sort files. You have 48 files, and those are represented by the 48 cards in this deck. And I'll just sort of show you a couple of cards from the middle. So each card has a number, 1 through 48. Each card also has an illustration, which doesn't really do anything except reinforce the theme. And once you finish the game, there's a nice little surprise there and a special ability. So you are trying to sort these cards from 1 to 48 within a certain number of passes through the deck. After the beginning of the game, we don't ever shuffle the cards. So I'm shuffling them fairly nicely now. And I believe that my method of shuffling, which is, in my opinion, superior to other methods of shuffling, actually is a handicap in this game. Because the way that I shuffle cards, as you can kind of see here, is I do the whoopsies. I'm trying to hold these kind of like far away from my body so that you can see me shuffling. And it's actually quite awkward to try to shuffle with my hands, like my arms fully extended. But basically the way that this is so awkward. I'm just going to sit somewhere else. Okay. The way that I shuffle cards is I do your sort of standard shuffle, like that. And then I take half the deck, either the top or the bottom, it doesn't really matter. And I think it's called an Egyptian shuffle, which what this does is it doesn't necessarily randomize the order of the cards as much as this does, but it reverses the order of the cards. And it also somewhat randomizes them. So like you'll get, instead of, let's say if we had cards 1, 2, and 3 here, 1 and 2 might go to the bottom of the deck in that order, and then 3, 4, and 5 might go to the bottom in that order, and so forth. So it reverses the order so that 1 is now near the bottom instead of near the top. And then when I shuffle it together again, this randomizes them in the sense that it sort of intersperses, like 1, then 20, like halfway down the deck, then 2, then 22. But 1, 2, and 3, and 4 are still in roughly the same order. However, when I do it my way, that is not an issue anymore. And in my opinion, this is a much better way of randomizing the cards. But it's a disadvantage in this game because we need to sort the cards from 1 to 48. And if I now have 1 coming after 2, which comes after 3, which comes after 4, and those are all sort of interspersed throughout the deck, that makes your job much, much, much more difficult. That was an aside that I really didn't need to have. I'm still explaining the game. So we start with card 48 set aside. I shuffle all of the other cards. I'm going to give them one more shuffle. And I'm going to put card 48 on the bottom of the deck. Now, I'm then going to go through multiple turns where each turn I draw 3 cards. I do something with those cards or not. I can use these suites to activate the special abilities on the cards or not. And then I put the cards into my past area. So there's basically 3 areas in the game that are sorted by time. Present, and then the past, and then the future. And there might be multiple futures. And that makes it sound like a very exciting time-traveling kind of game, but it's not. It's just about, like, these are things you've already done. You can think of it as an inbox and an outbox, right? This is your inbox. This is your, well, I guess this is what's in front of you, right, on your desk. This is in your outbox, and all of your future piles are in your inbox. So we're moving our cards from the present to the past. Then once they're in the past, they can go onto the bottom of the deck. And then in that, but when we move them from the present to the past, I did a much better job of explaining it last time I played this game, I think. I don't remember. But I gotta live with what I'm doing. All right. So let me start again. Okay, this is a card game about sorting files from 1 to 48. They begin in a randomized order, but card 48 is always going to be on the bottom. And each turn I'm going to see 3 cards. I might be able to activate special abilities on those cards. And then at the end of my turn, all of my cards will go down into the past area. When I move cards from the present into the past, I can sort them freely. There's no other point in the game when I can sort cards unless a special ability tells me that I can. Eventually, I'm hoping that by doing that over and over and over again, I'm kind of sifting through the deck. And eventually, within 8 times through the deck, because I have 7 cups of coffee, I will have the cards in order. If I don't have the cards in order by the time I need to drink my last cup of coffee, I will have lost the game. And just to clarify that, it's not when I need to drink my last cup of coffee, it's when I would need to drink another cup of coffee and I do not have one available. So again, I have 7 cups of coffee and then I basically have one more time through the deck, and the next time I would need to drink a cup of coffee, I lose. So I have to try to put that off happening. When do I drink coffee? Immediately, every time card 48 moves from the present to the past, I have to drink a cup of coffee. So I'm kind of just living on caffeine. Caffeine is running through my veins here. And I'm also living on sugar. So I have all of these sweets. Certain cards might give me more sweets into my private stash. And then I will take sweets out of my private stash and use them to activate abilities. Then they go back into what I assume is like the those, how some offices have like a bowl of candy by the reception desk. I assume that that's what this is, and then my private stash is just like in my desk drawer, like this little hidden stash of candy. And then this must be the espresso machine. As I kind of decided last time I played this game in terms of thematics, I believe it's not so much that this represents my workday, although that would make sense with 8 hours. But I think it's more that this represents the amount of cups of coffee that I can tolerate before my heart explodes. And as you'll see, as the deck gets thinner, as I begin sorting more and more cards, those cups of coffee are going to have diminishing returns. Okay, I think I've explained the basics of the game fairly well. It's a little bit like Klondike in that I'm trying to sort the cards in order, eventually, and they start randomized. But what makes this game different is all of the special abilities, rather like a game that I actually really enjoy, SOS Titanic, which I believe currently is on Kickstarter for a new edition, which I know nothing about it aside from the fact that it's on Kickstarter, but I really did like the original SOS Titanic, so definitely check that out. It's another game that kind of takes the concept of Klondike and adds in board game elements, like variable player powers, special abilities, like one-time use abilities, and it's a cooperative game. This is a solitaire game. You can only play this with one player. And let's just get started. So, I can explain more as I go. So, I'm going to start with my first turn of the game. I'm going to draw 3 cards. Oh, 45 and 46. That is excellent because card 48, as we know, is already on the bottom of the deck. So having 45 and 46 so close to it is a great start. If I can get card 47 right next to 48, then I know by the time I get to the end of the deck, I will be in good hands. Although it's actually, in a sense, it's not as good as having lower cards here. And the reason for that is because I can't do anything with cards 45 and 46 until I've already sorted cards 1, 2, 3, ... 44. But I do get special benefits for having a sequence of cards. Let's say I had 45, 46, and 47 here. That would have been very lucky. But let's just say that I'm able to, at some point in the game, manipulate that. And I put all those cards into my past area at the same time. If you have a sequence of cards that move from your present into your past, or from the present into the below your deck, you get some suites. You get a number of suites equal to the length of the uninterrupted sequence minus 1. Somebody is raiding with a party of 26. Okay. Hi. Hello, everybody. Oh, they're raiding me with rainbows. That's friendly. I like that. I actually don't know anything about raiding, but thank you for stopping by with those lovely rainbows. Thank you, Steph. Okay. So, yeah. So that's that. So I'm now going to use the special abilities on my card. So this one, every time I draw this little pink suite, I get an additional suite into my stash. Easy enough. This one, if I spend a suite on this card to activate the special ability, thank you. Hi, Bosun. Then I get to draw an extra card. I pretty much activate this special ability every time it comes up. And this one lets me draw a card and then put another card back on top of the deck. Not as useful as just purely drawing a card. But there are some situations where you might want to do it. In this case, I am going to spend a suite to draw an extra card, and that's probably all I'm going to do this turn. I got card 24. This lets me move cards from the present into the future, and that just means I get to deal with them later. That's like what I do every day, is say, I'm going to deal with this tomorrow. Move this stuff out of the way here. I'll put the rules over here. Oh my gosh, I've got 19 viewers. That's awesome. Yeah. So if you're just joining me, I'm having some bitrate issues. So you might see a little bit of dropped frames here and there. I'm going to call my internet service provider about that. And that's as much as I'm going to say about it. All right. So I've now done everything I want to do, so I can now sort the cards in order. I think I'm going to keep cards 45 and 46 here because I know card 48 is down here, and that just keeps all of those high-numbered cards together. And then the rest of the cards I will keep in the order that I have them because it's already in card order 13 and 24. So I'm just going to move everything actually down to my past area exactly as it is. This suite that I spent comes up here, and then I get to draw 3 new cards for my next turn. Yes, and I've learned that it takes a lot of money. That's what I've learned. So I'm going to draw 3 cards. 10, 11, and what? Who shuffled these? So I drew 10, 12, and 11. And I can now activate abilities if I want to. I know I'm going to get some suites back at the end of this turn because I have a sequence here. If I put 10, 11, and 12 down, I have a sequence of 2, so I'm going to get 2 suites back from the stash into my personal stash. So I could pretty freely spend abilities if I wanted to. I kind of don't have any use for that because this one is just putting cards into the past, which I want to keep these cards here so I get my streak, my sequence. And this one is putting a card into the future, which again, that would lose my sequence. So I'm just going to do this. One thing I forgot to say, and I forgot to do as well, at the end of my last turn, at the end of your turn, before you do anything else, you have to move cards from the past onto the bottom of the deck until there's only 3 cards left in the past. And then I'm going to sort my cards and put them down here. And I got 2 sweets for that. Yes. And I'm going to move everything else onto the bottom of my deck. And just by having that streak of cards at the beginning of my game, I feel much better about this game because last time I lost miserably. 17, 43, and 14. Oh my god. I feel like I didn't shuffle this deck, even though I shuffled it like a million times. Because there's 12 and then 14. Okay, so I'm going to draw a card. And 42. What the heck? All right, so I have a choice here. I could put all of my cards onto the bottom of the deck, which would put 43 closer to the other 40s. Alternately, I can move 2 cards into the past and draw 2 additional cards, or I can just do nothing here. I think I'm going to draw 2 additional cards because these cards are fairly low number, 14 and 17, and they're pretty close to each other. These 2 cards are pretty high numbers. So if I can move these into the past and draw 2 additional cards, that puts a little bit more space in between these 2 and these 2. Even though it's not much, it at least pushes these 2 higher number cards a little bit deeper down into the deck. At least that's my thinking. So I'm going to move 2 cards from the present into the past. Draw 2 additional cards to replace them. And I got a 4 and a 38. And then what I can now do is move cards into the future if I wanted to. That's what this ability does. And that's kind of tempting. But actually, what I think I'm going to do is move cards onto the bottom of the deck. Because that way, like I said earlier, I'm going to get my 40s closer together to the high 40s. And I'll get that 4 before the 10. So I think that's actually going to be a really good move for me. So I'm going to use that ability, move these cards onto the bottom, and I can sort them before I do so. So I'm going to move 4, and then 38, 42, and 43 in that order. These sweets that were here get moved over here. And I believe now I still need to sort cards or move cards from the past. Let me see. Yeah, I still need to move cards. Oh, these sweets also get moved over here. Move cards onto the bottom. So I do that. All right. And I draw 3 more. Ooh, a 6. That's a pretty good card. I got 2 cards that give me free sweets. Nice. And I think that's about all I'm going to do. I don't want to move these cards into the future. So I've got 6, 21, and 26. Move them down here, and this is a little time-saving thing I do. I am, instead of moving everything down, then putting them on the bottom, then shifting them over, since I have 3 and 3, I'm just going to put them all on the bottom and then replace them like that. 39, 33, 41. Not going to do anything with that. But it's nice, again, that I have these cards that are at least close together in numerical order. I swear I shuffled these literally a million times. And I know when I say literally, it sounds like I'm speaking figuratively, but it was literally a million times. Ooh, more low numbered cards. That's great. I think I had a card 8, or it could have been card 6 earlier. By the way, I have terrible memory, and this game relies on memory, which is a good way to exercise your memory. All right, I'm going to draw that. This card lets me draw 2 cards. That's awesome. So I'm going to draw 2 additional cards. And I think I'm going to make this kind of like a big turn. So every once in a while, it can be nice to draw a ton of cards, and then you can sort that entire thing of cards. So I'm going to go ahead and keep drawing. Actually, should I send these cards to the bottom? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and just send these cards immediately to the bottom of the deck, because then I've got my 7 and my 9 close to whatever that card was. It was either a 6 or an 8 that I just put on the bottom. And then I've also got my 31 is going to be before the 33. And I don't think I used this send to the bottom ability at all last time I played it. And I think maybe that's why I lost. Okay, we're going to put card 2 first. We're just going to put these in numerical order. So the first time through the deck is the fun part. And then every other time through the deck is where you realize, oh, I really should have been paying more attention to what I was doing the first time, because I have no idea where anything is. Okay, this is card 47. So I already know card 48, 46, and 45 are like in the middle, I think, at this point. So really not much at all I can do with card 47 being there. Card 32 being next to card 33 or close is pretty good. And there's card 27. So card 47 is another one of the best cards in the deck, because you can use it up to 3 times to draw additional cards. And I think I'm going to, at the very least, use it once now. And there's card 40, and I can put that next to card 41. That's amazing. Let's use card 27. There's card 16. I think I just put card 19 down. Another card. There's card 25. And we'll do it again. One more. Or should I move cards? Maybe this is actually a better ability. Move these 2 cards down. We'll put card 40 first so that it's next to 39 and 41. Then we'll put card 25 down. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to move card 40 down and card 25 down in that order. And then I can draw 2 new cards to replace them. Card 36 and 22. Card 36 gives me a sweet back, which is good because I was starting to run low. And now I have to decide, do I want to draw an additional card? Which I say, why not? Let's do it. Or I also have the ability, I think I'll do this, in fact, because even though it doesn't really matter, I want to push card 47 a little bit lower because it's basically the last card in the deck. But, by the time I get to card 47, it doesn't really matter, right? Because if I'm sorting these cards, and as I sort the cards, I remove them from the deck, by the time I get to the end of the deck, it doesn't matter where card 47 is at all. So there's really no use pushing card 47 to the end. It's really important to get the low-numbered cards in the right place. So I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to draw an additional card. And it's card 34. And that, I can draw another card now. I'll do it. And it was card 35. And I have 36. I'm going to get some sweets back at the end of this turn. Man, This game is so much more fun when you actually have some luck. It's amazing. Okay. All right. So I've got 16, 22. Let's do it. Okay. I'm going to take all these sweets off. And we'll just put them in numerical order here. So I've got a 16, 22, 27, and then 32, 34, 35, and 36. And because I have a sequence of 3 cards in a row, I get 3 minus 1, which is 2, sweets, and then I'll put card 47 at the end. Now I'm going to move all these cards in this order, this, then this, then this, then this, onto the bottom of the deck until there's only 3 left in the past. Like so. Okay. Perfect. I think I'm going to win this game just from the amount of sheer luck that I've had so far of the shuffle. I'm only on my first trip through the deck, and I've already got several sequences, which are going to keep paying out in sweets as I keep going through it. I think I'm doing pretty well. All right. 3. Where's number 1? And there's number 1. All right, so first I'm going to get a sweet for this card 3 that I got, and now the next step is first thing you do is you score any cards that you can. So the card number 1, that starts my score pile, which is going to be up here. This is my finished pile. And then I'm going to immediately draw another card to replace it. If that were number 2, I would then move that up, just like you would do in a game of Klondike Solitaire. But that's not card number 2 because I already saw that earlier in the deck. Okay. But now once I do draw number 2, I'll do that same thing. Okay, so I already got that. I could keep drawing cards, but I think at this point I want to try and get some sweets back. All right. Have a good night, Steph. Thank you for coming by. That was very nice. Okay. I'm going to draw... actually, I'm going to just send these cards to the bottom of the deck. Because, again, I want to put card 3 as early in the deck as I can. And then card 20 and 29 should come before card 35, 36, and 47. I'm being besieged by rainbows. That's awesome. So I'm just going to put these cards on the bottom. Although I realize I just broke up my nice sequence of 34, 35, and 36. But maybe, hopefully, I can draw those in the same turn again later. All right, card 15 gets me another sweet. Sure, I'll use this ability. I'll put 2 cards into the past. No, actually, I'm not going to use any abilities this turn. No, I will. I'm going to put 2 cards into the past like so. 5 and 15. And then I draw 2 new cards to replace them. Now, I could get 5 and 15 right back. And there's another sweet. Yeah, I think I am going to do that. Who knows if this is a good move or not. But this card lets me take 2 cards from the past. It's one of the best cards in the game. But it has to be the last 2 cards from the past. But that's super, super, super useful and lucky when it comes up. Because, for instance, if I had card 2 on a previous turn and then card 1 comes up this turn, I could move card 2 back into my present and score it now. I do not get my suite again, unfortunately. You only get that when you draw the card, as far as I know. But I do get to use this ability again if I so choose. And I think I will. So I'm going to move cards 5 and 8 this time into the past. Like so. And then draw 2 new cards. And look, I can do it again. I'm going to move these 2 cards back from the past. And we'll just do the same thing again. Wow, this is amazing that I can keep doing this over and over again. I mean, until I run out of suites. 44. All right. Wow. Is it even worth doing it one more time? Because then I'll have no suites. So I don't think I want to just have no suites available in case something really important happens. So I'm going to keep my 2 suites that I have. I'm pretty sure I played by the rules there. If I moved cards into the past, I immediately take the suites off of them. Yeah, it says you may activate this action again. You may activate their actions again with suites after you move them out of the past. Okay, let's see. So now I think I'm just going to sort these cards. So I'm just going to start by putting all of these at the bottom. And then we'll do 15, 18, 23, 28, and then cards 30, 37, and 44 are here. And I have just kind of like a feeling that I'm getting close to card 48. But we'll see. Yep, there it is. My gut feeling was correct. Oh, and it's going to be right next to card 44, 45, 46. That's really great. Okay. So as soon as I move this card from the present into the past, I lose a cup of coffee. If I were to do that same trick I did last round, where I move the card back into the present and then I move it into the past again, I would keep having to drink coffee, which is unfortunate. But I'm not going to do that. So let's see what we're gonna do. Okay. So I could activate this card ability. And I if I remember correctly, I don't think card 47 is up there. So I don't think I'm going to get a sequence. I think card 47 is somewhere in the deck still. Yeah. I remember because it came up in like the second or the third turn. So it's not going to be right. It's not going to be the next card I draw. So I think I'm just going to move these cards down like so. So, and I have to drink a cup of coffee, my first coffee of the day. All right, so we'll just put that up there. This is some nice little bit of organization that I established last time I played. You have the cups of coffee as a buffer between the finished deck and any future rows that I make. And then I have 13, 24, and 4. Let's see. Well, I don't want to move these to the bottom of the deck because I made that mistake a second ago, where I moved cards to the bottom of the deck and I broke up my sequence. But I know I have card 44 on the bottom. I don't want to break up 44, 45, and 46. So in this case, if I had a good memory, I could move the cards into the future if I thought that I would be getting card 2 and 3 soon, but I don't think I am. So So in this case, I think I'm going to save my sweets and not do anything right now. All right. It feels bad. You know, I am going to, like, maybe this is not a good use of my sweets, but I am going to move all of these cards into the future. Like so. I believe this was the order they came out in, or something like this. And I'm going to draw 3 new cards. That wasn't bad, actually. And then I'm not going to do anything with these, because I know then I've at least got card 44, 42, 43, 45, 46, fairly close together, actually. So I'm not going to move these into the future. So we will just move these down here. I will put card 42 before card 38. Just so I have a better chance of making that sequence. So once I've moved cards into the future, now the next time I would need to draw 3 cards, instead of drawing 3 cards, I just push these cards down into the present, and I can continue to try to deal with them. And this time I will not do anything, so I'll lose this sweet. And we'll do like so. 4, 13, and 24. The only downside for this game, which is not necessarily a downside, if you're playing a solitaire card game, sometimes you're doing it because you want to kill time. I do find that this game is maybe a little long. And part of it is because I'm talking, I'm like speaking out all of my thoughts, but the last time I played the game, it was like, I don't know, like 90 minutes to 2 hours for a single playthrough. The last time I streamed it. So it's a little lengthy for what this game is. But again, if I were playing at a higher difficulty with fewer cups of coffee, that wouldn't be an issue. Let's draw 3. 10, 11, 12. So nice. I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm going to continue that streak. I'll get 2 sweets for that sequence. $14, 17, 6. Okay, if I remember right, card 6 is near to card 7. Somewhere close. So I think I'm going to do this ability to move 2 cards into the past. I'm going to move card 14 and 17 into the past. And I'm going to draw 2 new cards now. 21 and 26. Okay, it wasn't that close as I thought it was. I got a sweet for that. I'm going to move these cards into the future because I've got 17 here. And I want to kind of have, hopefully, what's going to happen is I'm going to be able to separate the higher teens from the 20s. We'll see. 2, 7, 9. See, those are the cards. 6, 7. That's what I was thinking. Okay. So immediately I have to score this. Unfortunately, I would love to use this ability to draw 2 additional cards. That would be amazing for me. I cannot. I'm not allowed to. It is forbidden. It's verboten. I have to put this into my score pile and immediately draw a card. To replace it, but what I can do is draw an additional card this way, which I think I will do. All right, and that's card 31. And I can continue drawing cards, which I think I will do. That's card 33. And I think I'll use that ability as well. No. This is dumb. Why am I doing this? Because I want to put card 6 closer to card 7 and 9. Although I could always just put those at the end. I'm going to use an ability. It's probably dumb of me to use my sweets this much, but I'm going to try to use an ability to draw a card, and then put another card back on top. I've done that. I think the card that needs to be on top is the card that I just drew, card 39. So I'll put that back on top. And now I'm going to say I am going to put I am going to put So I'm considering putting card 7 up into the future. If I use this ability, the blue one, it basically puts one card into the future, and that card joins any other cards that are in the future. Then I would have cards 6 and 7 together. Yeah, I'm going to do that. At the very least, I've got those two cards together now. All right, and then I'm done with my turn. So I'm going to move. In general, I have not had good luck with putting cards out of sequence in order to try to create sequences later. But in this case, because I have cards 6 and 7 that I know I'm going to be putting down here at the next time, I think I'm going to do 19, 31, 33, and then 9 at the end. And then I'll put card 6 and 7 next to card 9. All right, 10, 11, 12, 14. Okay, like so. Ooh, okay. And then my future cards come down. I'm not going to do anything else with them, so I'm going to just move them down, like so. I don't know if that was worth it or if I just made things worse for myself. That's the tricky thing about this game. All right, and then I'm going to draw some more cards. Oh, 39, 40, and 41. That's amazing. All right, I'm not going to do anything with these cards, but I'm just going to move them in that sequence, which gets me 2 additional sweets. 39, 40, 41, got my 2 sweets. 25, 16, 22. I think I'm going to start saving up some sweets again, so I'm just going to move those to the bottom. And we'll just sort these in order here. 27, 32, 34. I could draw additional cards. I tend to always use the draw additional cards ability when I can, because that's more cards that you can sort. The more cards you have out at one time, the more cards that you can then sort into the correct order. But I'm not sure it's going to actually do me any good. Let's try it. We'll do it once. We'll do it with card 34. 3. All right, so first I score a sweet for that, or I get a sweet for that. Then I have to immediately score the card and draw another card to replace it, and it's card 20. Sure, we'll keep drawing. Card 29. And we'll draw another one. Card 35. It's okay. All right, and then I'm going to move. Yeah, I'm going to move these down. We'll do card 20, 27, 29, 32, 34, and 35. And that means it's time for me to start a new recording. So we're going to stop the recording here.